Good morning. See, I'm gonna try to square my mat to the. There we go. Hi. Here they come. Let me get this playlist copied and ready for you. There we go. Yay, Lynn made it too. Awesome. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah. Don't want you to miss class. It's too important. We need you. Okay. Oh, here they all come. Great. I see Hugh, George, Kat, Phil, Avi, Tamara. There's Emma. Hi. There should be a few more popping in. There they come. Get my hair up.
Hey, what's your playlist called, Kata?
My playlist is called Winter 2021.
I'm gonna
And
see if I can find it.
I'm going to put it right in the chat right now.
But then I can't play it on this same machine.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Winter 2021. It's in all the emails I send you, I think. And also, it's collaborative, which means you can add your own songs to it.
Whoa.
I welcome you to add songs. Like after a while, I'm making playlists for you guys every week. And I'm like, if you don't really like the music that I'm choosing, you're just stuck with me unless you become collaborative and add what you want. So there it is. And that's how we keep the fire element alive in wintertime. Community through music, expression, all that. Also, isn't this the best mug? This belonged to my uncle. I'm going to turn it into a pot later, but isn't that funny?
Oh, that's cool.
I love it. Okay. Oh my gosh. Karen's here too. Hooray. Rose. All right. I'm going to throw this in one more time for those of you who just popped on. There's a playlist. It's collaborative. Add your songs to it. This is the playlist that will carry us through the winter months. In the astronomical calendar, it's not winter yet. It's won't happen till Tuesday on the solstice. But in the meteorological calendar, it usually begins on December 1st. So we're well into it. So you can choose, you can feel it in your bones if it's winter for you or not. I was feeling ready for it to be winter, to acknowledge that energy coming in. So that's why we've been doing so much winter stuff. But perhaps you're still feeling the late fall. So anyway, just a moment of self-reflection on that. I am planning to do a good amount of investigation of our bladder meridian, the largest, one of the largest in our bodies of meridians. I sent you guys the video on the bladder meridian, Dr. K's take on it from an embryological perspective. That just helped really crystallize things for me when I was first learning. So you may like to check that out. We'll balance bladder with a little bit of kidney. And tell me what else you need, if anything, or if you're just here for the ride. You can throw it into a chat, or you can come off of mute and let me know what you want here. A little slalom. Hips, please. Cool. Anything in particular about hips? Because, there's a lot of places we could go with hips. Outer hip, like gallbladder, or like sacral opening. Beautiful. I like that. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Anything else? Okay. You guys know the drill. I'm going to put you all on mute. You can come off of it. Spleen, a spleen request. Beautiful. Oh, they're coming in. Great. Let's see what else these chats are saying. A pulled muscle in my back, do my best. Yes, everybody, please do. I was going to say do your best, but do whatever you need. Do you. Maybe it's your best today, but I don't know what kinds of associations we have with what it means to do your best. So do you today. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, spleen, hips, sacral opening. That'll be a nice combo. Shall we get moving then? All righty. I'm actually going to have you start out lying on your back. If you have blocks today, those will be helpful to have at some point. I'm just going to leave mine down at the bottom right now, but lie down on your back, bend your knees, let your knees prop together if that's comfortable. So we're just inviting your psoas muscle to relax here. And as the knees prop together, as they fall inward, I want you to sense the sacrum, that back part of your pelvis. Notice if right now your sacrum feels like evenly distributed against the mat, or maybe it feels like it's tilted one way or another. And so you can just like sit with that and let your awareness grow around your feeling, or you could play with a little bit of movement. For example, my pelvis, my sacrum feels tipped so that the left side is heavier than my right. So I'm just going to rock my right side back and forth into the mat a little bit to feel like I'm bringing some balance, and that's me. So maybe you want to tuck and untuck. Maybe you actually want to windshield wiper your knees, but we're just sort of getting the lay of the land, connecting to some spots here. And notice your relationship to your breathing right now. Maybe you're choosing to have a very specific breath. Maybe you forgot about your breath, that's fine. Maybe your breath is doing magical things for you. I don't know, just notice what your relationship to your breath is right now. And connect into the part of you that makes choices, that knows you can make a choice and choose to engage with your breath. I'm intentionally keeping these things a little more vague because I'd like you to have some room to explore your own impulses around it. So choose to have a relationship with your breath. Stay with it for a few more moments. I'm just checking in. And you already know this, but in case you forgot, maybe you tap into something really interesting as we're getting started here. And you are welcome to do whatever you need, want, or are interested in throughout our entire class. Maybe you find a cool thread and you're just going to follow it. But we're happy that you're here. You've already shown up. Beautiful. And as we're coming into a little bit more movement, I want you to bring your heels right in line with your sitting bones. So about hip socket distance apart. Now your knees are more parallel. And bring your thumbs to the inner corners of your eyes. Just
under your eyebrow bone at the inner edges. And you can prayer your hands and let your thumbs fall to those inner eyebrows, maybe even pressing slightly up into the brow bone. So this pressure point is bladder 2, bladder 1 at the inner corner of your eye, bladder 2 just a little bit higher, the very start of our bladder meridian. And you can imagine this channel like a river, big powerful river. It's starting at those inner eye corners. It's going over your head, traveling up the forehead, down the back of your neck. It's following along your spine, traveling along on either side of your spine, coming down around your sacrum, and then it travels down the backs of your legs. And you could picture it kind of going along the hamstrings, slightly to the outer edges of your hamstrings, the backs of your calves, down your heels, and then out your pinky toe. That's the channel. So pressing gently into bladder 2 at your inner eye corners, rock your pelvis forward and back, and just visualize that meridian like a stream, a river, all the way along the back body. As you're rocking and exploring, you can, maybe if you're very visual, you'll picture how the water flows, and if there are little stones in the way or bends in the river, places where the river is a little bit dammed up. You can imagine here the flow of our energy. And if that's helpful, keep the image in your mind, or keep playing with your imagery. Bring your arms down at your sides. Your palms are facing the mat. Your chest is open. Tuck your pubic bone towards the sky so your lower back imprints into the ground, and then lift your pelvis away from the floor. You're peeling your spine up one vertebra at a time. Sense the hamstrings waking up. They're getting a little bit more alive here. Your shoulders are drawing back. Back of your neck is long. Wherever there's a surface making contact with the floor, I want you to activate that surface a little more. So press into your palms, press into the back of your head, press into your feet, feel your muscles lighting up, keeping that energy as you now spill your spine back down, one vertebra at a time. You're massaging your vertebra, bone by bone, all the way down to the mat. Let your tailbone reach into the floor. Your lower back can arch away for a moment, and we're going to do it again. Tuck your pelvis. Your pubic bone rolls towards the ceiling. We're lifting the spine away, vertebra by vertebra, peeling up. Make contact. Exploit that contact with the ground, palms, feet, back of your head, shoulder girdle, and then spilling your spine down. Dripping that spine, vertebra by vertebra.
Beautiful. This is the move. You're going to give me 3 more of these spinal waves. Yeah, you might get a hamstring cramp if you're lucky. We're waking up that whole channel. Yeah, good. If you're feeling like you want to move more vigorously, you could go quicker, or you could play with lifting up one leg so you're on one single leg, and that'll really light up your hamstring. Yeah, maybe you want to stretch your arms overhead, feeling more length. Oh, I love what I'm seeing. Nice job, team. Wowza, I think we have about 1 more to go. We're doing it.
And then coming all the way back down. So hopefully you have a little energy in the backs of your legs now along your hamstrings. And I'm going to take a block and put my left foot on top of the block, so I have a little bit more lift, and cross my right ankle over the left thigh. So here's for a little more sacral space. If you don't have a block, no worries, you could put your foot on the floor, or you could also play with propping your foot at the wall. So you have just more range to play with. We're trying to get more room in your hip joint here. So I'm gonna stick with my block. Left foot is on the ground wall or block. Right ankle is crossed over in a figure 4. Just wave your knee, the right knee, the cross knee, out and in a few times. And as you do, keep your pelvis heavy. Current your sacrum down towards the ground a little bit wide here. And then as your knee comes in towards your chest, I want you to wrap your hands around the outside of the knee. And push your knee away from your chest. We're waking up the lateral hamstring, maybe some glute work. And then as your knee pushes away, you're pulling your knee towards your opposite shoulder. The knee pushes away. Keep pushing your knee away. Use your arms to draw your knee towards your shoulder. Good. I'm going slowly just so I can really make the connection first. I want to feel the muscle engage before I pull it across. But if you feel like you've found the touch, you've got the connection, you can choose your pace, of course. So we're still on that bladder meridian. We're right along the lateral hamstring here, and you might also feel its relationship to the sacrum around that back bone that is like they sometimes call it the keystone between the two halves of your pelvis. And so as we're bringing some rotation to your thigh and balancing the tissues in your hip, that can bring some more space and balance to your hip girdle right across that sacrum. Nice. I'm just going to take a closer peek. Keep moving for me.
Looks really beautiful. Yeah, this is a cue for some. You can ignore me if you have enough going on. As your knee is pulling towards your chest, I want you to current your right pelvis to the right. Let it get wider to the side as your knee comes across. You probably won't literally move it. That's why I'm using the word current. It's just like an energetic reach, a little extra space. Cool.
Honestly, sometimes when I hook into this one, I feel like I could just do this all day long for the rest of the class. This is like where some of my stories can unravel. So you are welcome to do that. If you are ready to move on, then take that right leg into your hands. If you had a block underneath of you, kick it aside so your left leg can come on down. All right, so we're holding behind your right hamstring here. Kick your leg away from you and let that rock you all the way up. We're gluing your right heel towards the mat. Yep, keep the heel magnetized towards the ground as you rock it on back. You know it, rock and roll with that hamstring. Good. I'm keeping a pretty good connection in the back of the leg. And my right knee has a little bit of a bend in it so that I can feel the hamstring really working. Nice. Let's take 2 more here. Roll all the way back down to your back. Cross that right ankle over your left thigh again. Now you're in a number 4 stretch. So we've moved from the lateral hamstring into your glute med along the gallbladder. Clasping behind your left thigh, rock your legs away from your chest. You can lift your head and chest here. Keep kicking your legs away from you as you use your arms to pull the leg in towards you. Yep, you could keep your head down if you want. I tend to leave my head up for this one. Or you could put your block under your head if you wanted some support. And just noticing how the effort is now moved a little bit more into our sad booty. Beautiful. Feel your hip creasing. Invite the front of your hip to fold as your leg comes towards you. 2 more here, more or less. Play with the angle of your knee, find the potent floss. All right, come to about the halfway range. Rest your head down. We're gonna rock from side to side, just teetering left and right. Keep widening the right side of your pelvis. You might also notice your pelvic floor muscles starting to wake up if you're connected to that. One more rock. And release. Plant your feet wide on your mat again, as wide as the edges of your mat. Your knees are bent. Now hook your left heel over your right thigh. Yeah, so we switched legs. We're gonna work on the quad here on the right side. So with the left heel hook, you're tipping your knees over to your right to wind up and contract your right quadricep and hip. Use your left heel to drag it across and down. We're getting a yawn through the hip flexor and side of the hip. Totally fine if your hip lifts up a little here. Use that right thigh to pull, push, really push back to the right. As your right thigh is pushing right, your left heel is dragging, drawing down. Might feel nice to bring your right arm alongside of your ear, making that waistline long. Might feel nice to curl it in, right elbow to right belly button, and then as you drag across, you could extend. We're taking a yawn through the side front of your hip. Beautiful. I'm just going to take a peek again.
We're on the stomach channel, stomach meridian here. Yep, extra credit if you make your ribs feel a little sticky. As the knee drags across, your ribs are a little bit sticky. Yum.
All right. Shake it out. Take your legs to the sky and give them a shimmy. We're going to rock all the way up to sit and step your right foot forward into your spleen lunge. So right foot is to the outer edge of your mat. Toes are slightly turned out. I've got my shoulder nudged up into the inner thigh, and we'll just go for those classic half monkey spleeny pumps here. If you want, you can hook your hand behind your heel so you have something to drag. Good, so this was the spleen floss that I was craving after being on our back for a while. But if you want, you know the other option is to come onto your back and do the single leg pump. So that's another version if you're not liking the lunge.
Giving you all the options because everybody in the room is already a stretch pro. I just like to give you the sampler platter. Nice. Kieran, that looks great. Looks really intentional. Nice, everybody. Give me a couple more. And if you're interested, just play with your angles a little bit as you send your booty back. Notice the pathway. Ooh, Emma, yeah. Becoming the lion. Yeah, I like that use of the wall too, Hugh. Awesome. A little higher up keeps you from jamming down into your joint. Brilliant, everybody. Ooh, nice twist, Stacy. You guys are rolling with it. I love it.
All right, let's plant our hands and step back to a down dog. Pedal out your feet, see how things are feeling. Lowering your heels towards your mat, doesn't matter if they touch. I want you to stretch your mat really long. Kick your hands forward, sweep your feet back, stretch your mat, and then wave your spine through. Give me a high plank. Softening your elbows and soften your knees until they just barely hover off the mat. Just to build a little heat here, keep hovering your knees and flex your spine. You're looking towards your belly button like a cat. Keep hovering your knees and extend your spine. Cat-cow with hovering knees. 2 more here, flex. Really feel that tailbone tucking and extend. 1 more, flex. And extend. Good, straighten up into your down dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. You're at the back of your mat in a forward fold. Let your head hang. Take your feet as wide as your mat, turning out your toes ever so slightly, very, very slightly. Give me a generous bend in your knees. Option 1, just take your hands behind your legs at your calves, just to the outside. If you feel like you can scrunch on in there, option 2 is to take your hands to the insides of your knees and wrap the backs of your calves or your heels. All right, this is also for spleen, Lori. So you're squeegeeing your feet back or pressing your calves into your palms. Your palms are pressing into your legs. Bend your knees more, lowering your tail down and looking forward. Keep pressing your calves to palms, palms to calves, and straighten your legs coming into a forward fold. Wherever you're making contact, establish that contact. Bend your knees again. You don't have to go very low. We're just moving. We're getting a floss, lifting your chest as your knees bend, and then extend. Feel the sacrum widening. Give me 2 more. These always make me very, very warm. I don't know about you. These are a little bit of work. And extend. 1 more time. Feel that back broadening. Pressing your palms forward into the backs of your legs. Once you finish, release the tension. Just hang over, sway from side to side, ragdoll. Coming back to center and rolling up. Beautiful. Your feet are still wide where you're standing. You can just be there for a moment. Let your arms just hang. Give them a little shake. Good. And we're just going to do some swings, some twists. You can have soft knees. By the way, I think I saw that Yoga Soup is now offering a new class. Is it Qigong with Way of Sam? I'll ask Karen afterwards. Oh yeah, double thumbs up. So Karen, who's in class right now, is a super gifted acupuncturist, one of 2 that I know of in this class. And her partner is also a gifted acupuncturist and teacher, and he's teaching a new class at Yoga Soup. I was thinking about it because this is like not Qigong, but reminds me of it. So anyway, go check out Way of Sam. Check out Yoga Soup. It'll be a great complement to what we're doing here. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. I feel like a little extra shaking is nice. I was working on a client this morning, and she felt a little like, she called it glitter going down her gallbladder channel. She's like, oh, I felt a little glitter. I like that. I like that description. So maybe you can shimmer and feel a little glitter. Yeah. Cool. If you want to get your chi flowing and your knees feel happy here, I'm going to give you a challenge. If you don't want to do this, you can come onto your back and relax for a moment. But if you want, you're going to start out standing. You're going to come down and roll, and then you're going to come back up again. And we're going to do about, I don't know, 5 to 10 of these, depending on your mood. Or you're lying down on your back, you could do those pelvic curls we started with again. Really rolling out that bladder meridian. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Getting a little blood flow. Nice. Festive holiday party. Everybody drops and rolls. This is my kind of party. All right, one more. You can stay down. If you have a block, you can grab a block for later in a moment. Actually, now, yeah, it's block time. You can put a block under your right foot or put your right foot at the wall. We're crossing the left ankle over. We're about to hit the bladder meridian on the other leg. So before we add the floss, I want you to just sense alignment for a moment so you can get yourself set up in a comfy way. You're turning your knee in and out. And your front hip here, I hope doesn't feel too pinchy at this point. So you can kind of play with the angles so that your hip has enough space in the front. Rose, this has been one of your questions. Are you able to find an angle that's not pinchy right now? I'll throw out some options just in case, but it may feel better to have your foot flat so that the hip joint isn't so pulled in. It may also feel nice to cheat your foot just a little to the midline so that the hip has some more room. So just, you know, things to play with. If you're ready and you found the angle that's feeling okay, then you're going to take your hands to the outside of your knee. Your knee is pushing away from your chest. You're using your arms to draw your knee towards your opposite shoulder. Your left pelvis is going to the left, widening. So we're back on bladder meridian along the hamstring. And I was reminded of this because my left side is the one that has more scar tissue in it. And so this might also be your experience. I don't actually feel a lot of sensation around that muscle group right now. I do feel tension, like that I can generate some force and tension, but I don't have the sensory feedback in my leg in the same way on this side. So that might be something that you're also experiencing. Generally, when that's happening, you want to give yourself a little extra time with it because it'll just take more cleanup to get to the awakening. You know, we're taking away some of those layers of, the layers, I guess you could think of them as like well-intentioned protection. Scar tissue is trying to help, but sometimes it can deaden things a little bit or bury this sense. Really nice. Good. If you're onto something and this is really the medicine for you, then you can stay with it. The next thing we did, if you were ready to move on, which you don't have to, by the way, take your block out of the way. You're going to hold the back of your left hamstring and you're going for your rock and rolls. That heel kicks down, magnetized to the floor, and up we go. Good. Yes, I'm so happy to see that some of you are choosing to stay with the last thing. That's great. Cool, let's do just a couple more here. Remember to keep a little baby bend in your knee. We want to feel the hamstring or give the hamstring opportunity to work. And then coming all the way down, now you're crossing that ankle over once again. You're in a figure 4, threading the needle here. So the left ankle is crossed over. This is moving more towards our side booty. Kick your legs away from your chest. You might rock up. Keep kicking away as you use your arms to pull on in. We're pressing away. Use the arms to fold the hips towards your chest. Good. I was just reminded, again, this is my janky side. I am getting a little substitution in my hamstring here. So even though I'm focusing on my hip, I could feel a pull more towards the medial hamstring. And so you might be feeling your inner thigh or your hip flexor. The first thing I'd have you explore right now is the position of your left knee. So you might take your knee, I'm bringing my knee towards my right shoulder a little bit more instead of pushing it away. And that allows me to get more leverage at my hip instead of substituting. So you can play with your angles, know what you're after. Remember, you can make all the choices you need here. Let's go to about the halfway point and rock from side to side. You can let your head down, teeter totter. Awesome. Good, and release. Plant your feet on your mat. Your feet are wide, your knees are bent. Now your right heel is your helper. It's hooking to your left knee or outer thigh. We're coming onto the stomach on the left leg. Yep, so you're gonna push your knees. Your left knee sways to your left, contracting the muscle. Your right heel drags your left thigh across and slightly down. Big yawn through the quad and hip. Coming back to start. So you can add a gesture with your left arm if it feels nice to bring more length in. Your left arm can stretch alongside of your ear as the knee goes across. I'm going to give you some repetitions to just explore. Go after your own movements here.
So the leg that's on the bottom is the one we're focusing on flossing right now. Yeah. Good. Sticky ribs, y'all. Y'all is a word I use ironically until accidentally it becomes part of my vocabulary. Let's see those sticky ribs. That's it. That's it. All right.
Shake it out. Rock yourself on up. And let's step the left foot into your spleeny lunge. So left leg is to the outside, toes are turned slightly out here. Your heels swiping back, and you're sitting back. Might be nice to hook the heel. Good, I'm feeling like coming back to the sacrum. Bring your awareness back to your sacrum, that sacral plate right now. Use that as the initiator for your movement. See what happens. Sacral plate draws back, it's slightly up. right, this is the one you all went to town on, so you can play, choose your angles. Play with your hand positions. I saw some really nice exploration on the other side. Have fun with it. I mean, my idea of fun with it. Yeah. Glorious. Let's take one or two more. And then you can step back into your down dog and check things out, pedal out your feet. Stretch your mat really long. Come forward to your high plank. Soften your elbows and then bend your knees till they just barely hover off the mat. And we're gonna take our hovering cat-cow, flex, looking towards your belly button, and extend, looking forward. Two more, flex. By the way, if the knee hover is too much, you could drop your knees to the mat, no problem. One more time. Pressing back into your down dog. And this time, walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Soften your knees, hanging over in a forward fold. Bounce it out here. Little easy bounces through your spine. One more round of breath here with the bounce. And pause and roll all the way up. Love it. So I want to give you enough time to have the props of your choice. We're going to do our Warrior 3 hydraulics, but there's options that you have. So the blocks are helpful, so you're not too far down. But having a wall a little higher can feel really nice too. Or, I don't know, sometimes I use my little ottoman because it's pretty. Right, so get your props, set yourself up for success here. And we're going to start with the right foot forward. We'll take a little bit more time with our position of the foot. So looking at your front foot, I want you to make a straight line from your pinky toe to the outer edge of your heel. For most of you, that'll feel slightly turned in, just slightly pigeon-toed there. Okay, so find that alignment. Got my other foot just kind of hopped back in almost a lunge. It's just waiting for liftoff. And I want you to shift your weight into the ball of your front foot. Imagine you could just slide one piece of paper underneath of your heel. So it's not a huge lift, but it's just like a little tiny piece of paper under your heel. Keep that weight and then float off. You're in your Warrior 3 supported position. Keep your left leg hovering and try to straighten it a little bit more. And then we're going to rotate your left hip towards the ceiling. So turning it out half moon-ish style. Rotate your pelvis back to the floor, or maybe even let your left hip go a little to the right. You'll feel the sacrum spreading. You might feel some new spots on your hamstring. And we're rotating your hip open again, half moon style. Maybe these are micro movements. And down, yeah, if you're at the wall, both hands will be on your wall. I'm thinking about length as much as range here. I'm really going more for stretch. Length is the word. And then find a somewhat square pelvis. So maybe your pelvis is flat to the floor. If you're more at the wall, it's evening out to the wall, right? And from there, we're tapping the back foot down And floating it up again. Straighten your back leg a little bit more. Your standing leg stays bent. Your weight is in the ball of your front foot. It's a deep clean. We're going for the floss. You can stay right down the middle or give me some rainbow arcs with your back foot, tapping across and down, arcing up and over. I didn't offer this feisty option. I always think of Luca though. She's feisty and she just floats her hands. And then, wow, it's a lot. So you could levitate if you were enlightened. Mamma mia, are we cooked here? I'm cooked. Step your feet back together, hang down in a forward fold, just kind of spill down, release. Let's roll up in between sets so you can feel the difference. Yeah, and just to get us integrating, I just want you to walk to the back edge of your mat. Feel your feet, feel the difference, and then walk to the front of your mat. And you're just gonna walk back and forth 3 or 4 times. Cool. Meet me at the top when you're ready, or wherever you are for your Warrior 3 hydraulics. Maybe you're at the wall. Now the left foot is in front. So lining up your outer heel edge with your pinky toe today. It's taking a little more time for that. Shifting the weight towards the ball of your foot. Your heel has a lightness to it. It's not lifted, but it's just a little lighter. Nice bend in your knee. Good, and we'll shift the back leg up. And starting out with those half moon rotations, you're rotating your right hip towards the ceiling or open, and then you're rotating it down, and maybe even rotating the front of your hip a little bit closed. Yep, rotating. Open and closed. One more. Nice straight floating leg today. Square off more or less and go for those toe taps straight down and up about 3 to 5 times. If you were feeling your hamstring a little bit more dull in some of the previous flossings, maybe now you're starting to make some connections. Maybe there's a little extra fire. Rainbow arcs if you want, topping across, up and over. Optional. Stay strong in your standing leg. Try not to sink down, but make space in your joint. All right, you just gotta see. Float your hands if you want. Woo. And step your feet together. Come on down. Whoa, let that chi flow. Rolling up to stand one more time. And walk forward and back on your mat. Just putting your legs back into your body here. If you like a little thrill, you could do it with your eyes closed. That'll just kind of make everything even more exciting. Awesome. Okay, I don't have a fancy transition. Just come on down to the ground. Oh, see some nice movements coming up. Be so fun someday to have a class where like we just popcorn around the Zoom cubes and everybody contributes something who wants to. Okay, so you're sitting, we gotta balance all that bladder work with some kidney time. Let's go into our good classic kidney. So you're sitting, you might like to sit on a little cushion. And play with where your feet are too for how your hips are feeling. A little bit of space between your feet might be nice. We're gonna bring our elbows to the insides of the knees. Prayer your hands. Squeeze your knees together. Keep squeezing your knees together and use your elbows to peel your knees open. Good. Squeeze it back in. As the knees come in, we're contracting along the kidney meridian. Keep the kidney meridian engaged as your arms floss and elongate. Nice. So I have my hands in prayer and I'm really using the elbows as leverage, mostly because, well, it's a fun way to do it. It's also then giving us a floss in the upper body along the small intestine meridian. But if you want to really focus on the lower leg, you might find a different position that would be more useful if you want to really prioritize kidneys. Sometimes holding the ankles and sending those knees apart feels potent. So just options. Nice. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, you all are naturally doing this, but as you come forward, as you're letting the knees open, the collarbones are where the kidney meridian ends, and you can send your collarbones forward and up. You can fold that sternum in and then allow your sternum to widen and move forward as you open your knees. Love it. One more time. Great. Pause in your cobbler's pose. Let's take a kidney 1 treatment. So your thumbs can go to the center of your foot, just underneath of the ball of the foot at the bubbling spring point. Yeah, I just got my thumbs in there and massaging around. It's a really nice one to, I think of it kind of as a great balance for energy. So especially social energy, if the fire is really high, then kidney 1 can be very balancing, replenishing for that. Does anybody feel some glittery tingles along their meridians anywhere? I feel the glitter. Yeah, however you'd like to receive this point, it might feel nice to be very like pure and focused on the thumb to the soles of the feet, or maybe your interest is in like stirring around a little and moving and sensing into your body overall. If you have a sense of where your kidneys are, you could breathe into them. And release, bringing your knees together. We're going to roll onto our back. Knees are bent. Oh, I'll give you one final like kind of playful option. If you have a block or like a roller, you just need one. So we're returning to these pelvic curls that we did before, which are just like kind of a nice check-in, returning to the bladder channel. But if you wanted to give your nervous system and your body something a little bit different, then put a block underneath one of your feet. So one foot is elevated and the other is not. And you'll do your pelvic curls like that, about 3 to each side. So it just changes your feedback. You might feel your hamstrings differently, your pelvis. Just will add a little bit of confusion in a way that might be stimulating. And when you feel pretty good with all that, come on down. One last time, walk your feet out to the edges of your mat. This time, take your hands just off of your mat. So your palms start out facing up, your chest is open, and then spin just your palms to face down while your shoulders are open. And you're gonna windshield wiper your knees from side to side here. Just rocking it out. Keep your palms suction down and find your twist.
Stacy's got a bunny in her yard feeling the yoga vibes. I love that. Is it making noise? Is it like tick, 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 tick? Beautiful. So here I'm thinking about, we're back kind of on the stomach floss, but in your upper body, if you activate your upper body and really palm the ground, you can get a bit of a heart floss too, from the pinky finger up to the armpit. And then coming back to center, extending your legs long on the mat. Might feel nice to conclude with some of those heel rocks where you dig your heels in and you wobble forward and back, just letting your spine be sloshy. Yeah, we're getting ready for our rest, the resting time. Sense into what you really want for these last 4 minutes of our practice together. If you want to take your legs up the wall, if you'd like to sit in meditation, if you just want to take good old Shavasana, if you would like to hum yourself a lullaby, whatever you need now, we're coming into rest. Notice again your relationship to your breathing. And choose how you'd like to relate to your breath in this moment. You can stay here for as long as you'd like. I think it'd be great to have a little extra time to meditate as we move into this season. But if you're ready to formally close with me and shift your attention back to the space that we share, finding a shape that feels like a good closing shape for you, where you have that conclusion. And if you're closing with me, you can bring your palms together and rub your palms. And then cup your hands over your eyes and bow into yourself. Hatha Yoga Anushasanam. Here's where your practice begins. Such an honor and a joy to share with you today. Namaste. Thank you all so much. Let me see, I gotta check the calendar quick. Next Thursday is the 23rd. I'm planning to teach. I hope to see you there. If you wanna, Zoom with me. I'll see you then. Yeah, or dab. I never learned that, but dab. Aw, thanks, Kieran. Such a treat to have you in class. All right, take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Take care, Kata.
Thank you, Phil. Great to see you as always.
Likewise. Yeah. Take care.
Take care. Yay, Lynn. I'm glad it helped your back. Woohoo.